Hello everyone, this is a presentation of my action research conducted as part of the requirements for the completion of the MA program in ELT from Universidad Davinci. This video presentation will be divided into the following sections. I will mention some of the relevant literature on the topic. I will describe briefly my research context. I will present my research methodology. I will discuss my findings and share my conclusions. Looking back on my past teaching experience, I realized my involvement in syllabus design was very limited. Typically, syllabi have been presented to me in the form of books or a list of topics students and I should cover throughout the course timeline. The syllabi in question are often irrelevant to context of participants, ignoring their realities and particular needs. This reflection led to my research interest, critical needs analysis in ELT. Needs analysis gathers information on learners' needs for informed syllabus design. There are comprehensible procedures for the conduction of needs analysis. For example, Graves presents us with a series of steps in order to conduct one. It is important to mention that, for the purposes of this research, this view of needs analysis is seen as incomplete and that the incorporation of a critical perspective to it is necessary. If needs analysis helps you discover your learners' needs, critical needs analysis goes further by viewing context as sites for reform. Syllabus design is exercised under an equal grounds where students' needs and interests are usually not considered. Instead, it is the needs and interests of stakeholders with greater power which drive syllabus design. In that regard, critical needs analysis seeks equality by empowering learners to make their voices heard, share power more equally, and in doing so, redefine the roles in syllabus design. Past experiences have proven that critical needs analysis can be used as means of transformation and reform in the ELT classroom. This research is set at Escuela Normal Sierra Hidalguense in Tianguistengo, Hidalgo, Mexico. The school plays a central role in the local community, serving as both a cultural and economic center for the area. Historically, syllabi were centrally developed by the federal government. However, recent reforms under the Nueva Escuela Mexicana initiative have empowered local communities and institutions to tailor courses to their specific contexts, and Escuela Normal Sierra Hidalguense was no exception. In Hidalgo, Escuelas Normales English teachers collaborated to create some of the syllabi to be used for the language courses. However, no systematic efforts were made to assess students' needs. Instead, the proposed syllabi relied heavily on certain book series. This research advocates for implementing a critical needs analysis to better address the needs of 24 pre-service teachers at Escuela Normal Sierra Hidalguense. The approach used for this study is action research with 2 cycles of reflection. The steps in cycle 1 were reflecting on current practice, defining a problem, which in this case was related to syllabus design, devising and conducting needs analysis, creating a syllabus proposal, plan application of syllabus and data collection instruments, and the application and data collection. In cycle 2, the steps are analysis of information and action adjustments, and modify teaching practice so that the whole cycle can begin again if necessary. The data collection techniques are questionnaires, interviews, and a short narrative for students to tell their experiences. To ensure validity, the information from students' questionnaires was triangulated with the one obtained from their teachers and school board members. One of the main findings was the significant mismatch between students' perceived needs and school board members' priorities. As it can be noted, the needs highly valued by students matched with those perceived by their teachers. Nevertheless, school board members' perceived students' needs differ significantly. For Cycle 1, 91.3% of the class considered the syllabus was optimal and their needs had been met. More specifically, they also expressed how they felt about their needs met in specific areas, and the responses were also positive. For Cycle 2, they also assessed the extent to which the syllabus met their needs in general as well as in some specific areas. For example, learning materials, learning activities, the topics used for the lessons, skills development, and how they felt about their abilities in regards to English language teaching. As the final data collection technique, students wrote a narrative to evaluate the syllabus in 3 aspects. Number 1, how students felt about the course in general. Number 2, how the participation process was for them. Number 3, their personal assessment of their inclusion in this project. Their narratives were processed by an AI, obtaining the following results. In terms of general evaluation, there is an 88% positive view on the course, whereas 12% of the class suggested some improvements. In terms of participation, 75% of the class felt they were actively involved and 25% perceived their participation was limited. In terms of whether the course really met students' needs, 92% of the class felt the course actually met their needs and 8% suggested more personalization. All in all, this action research in this particular case demonstrated how critical needs analysis can create a fairer syllabus development process. Personally, I would like to invite other fellow teachers to try to listen to their students' voices and purposefully attempt to discover what they really need as language learners and how their learning process, including syllabus design, is mediated by larger power structures. By doing such an analysis, you could become more aware of your roles in those structures as teachers and learners. Making such critical reflections will enable them and yourselves to actively participate in shaping such a role and to achieve a more equitable language and learning teaching process. Thank you very much.